Schools across the Tri-Island state came alive on Monday with the voices of teachers and students as classrooms that had been empty for approximately 8 weeks were once again filled by those eager to resume face-to-face learning. GIS stopped by one primary and secondary school to get feedback on how things were proceeding.
It was really refreshing to have to see students again on the plant. The teachers, you can see that for them, they wanted to be back.
The bonding, they actually got to see each other today, so you see the smiles and everything was fine with those here.
Schools remain closed for the start of the Michaelmas term in September due to the surge of COVID-19 cases in Grenada beginning in August of this year, which only recently subsided. Barbara Simmons, principal of the St. Andrew's RC School, gave us an idea of what online learning was like this term and how it feels having the school reopen its doors on Monday. She says everyone had been looking forward to coming back to normal classes in September, but made the best of an unexpected situation.
Although it was a little bit of a disappointment, teachers were more prepared for virtual learning this time around for a couple of reasons. One, every teacher now had a laptop to do their planning and delivery. Secondly, every student, or maybe 95% or maybe more of the students, had a device which could have been used for virtual learning. Added to that, by then people were more comfortable with the various learning platforms and various strategies for virtual learning.
Despite making many efforts to equip all involved for virtual learning, the Ministry of Education realized that there were some students throughout the state of Grenada who were not readily accessing online classes. Students in exit classes also needed extra attention to prepare for exams. Simmons says the return to school was bittersweet. The joy of seeing the students was mixed with concerns of how to get the students up to speed with the content that they had been missing.
This morning is to do evaluations, to take stock, see where the children are, talk with them. For the kindergartens, it's the first time seeing the new school and the new class and meeting their teacher face to face. The teacher can sit with that child and see where he's at and have a better knowledge of how to plan and work with that child.
She says the grade 6s are one of the most settled groups of students who will have an easier time catching up.
They have settled down, they're working on their projects and so in preparation for CPA, but it's good for them to come in and to get some structure, and again too, as I said, important for the teacher to connect with them, to chat with them, to listen to them, hear, what are their fears, what are their concerns. That social aspect is really key.
Simmons says most teachers worked from school even during the online learning period in the last few weeks. She noted that all safety protocols are being implemented as required to ensure everyone is safe.
The concern for everybody's safety is paramount in everybody's mind. But at the same time, it's good to see life on the school grounds.
Despite the presence of COVID-19, Simmons thinks it's important to find ways to live and work productively. She applauds the incremental approach to the reopening of schools. Saren Mark, a kindergarten teacher at the St. Andrew's RC School, is excited to see her students for the first time in person.
Teaching online was a bit challenging at first, not so much on my end, but getting the students to adapt to the online learning, especially at their age, the kindergarteners, some of them are 4+, they're 5, and we know their attention span is very short. So getting them to stay online for more than 30 minutes was a bit of a challenge at first, but those that we were able to meet, it became, as the third week came on, the fourth, they got into the groove, and we were sailing very, very nicely. And coming back to the classroom, I'm very happy, and my colleagues were happy to come back to engage those who were not able to meet online.
While there are connectivity issues engaging students at home and in class, and while those in class are not thrilled about wearing a mask, Mark says everything is going well and commended the efforts of the parents.
I want to thank the parents. Almost everyone came out with their hand sanitizers, they had their shields, they had their masks, so the parents really, you could see that some talking was done at home.
Despite their age, she says the kindergarteners have been adhering to all protocols. Over at the Wester Hall Secondary School in St. David, Principal Bernadette Samuel says this return to the physical classroom is a welcome change. She says there were still challenges with students accessing online learning, and efforts such as creating printouts of work that Form 1 students could collect to follow along with classes were made available.
Now that we're back, we are happy that the students are back. The teachers really wanted to get a break from being at home, and many of them, most of them, would have preferred to be here to work with our students face to face, because we figured that our students respond better in that medium.
Samuel says teachers are still concerned about the ability of the other students who are still accessing online learning to keep up as teachers would like. She says reaching those at home means teachers have to prepare additional work because online and in-class students require different learning strategies. She also shared some of the concerns of parents.
Many of their parents are okay with sending the students back, although they're a bit concerned as to them being exposed. But it's a risk that we all have to take.
Samuel says the school is doing its best to follow all COVID-19 protocols, including adequate use of sanitization and the wearing of masks. While she says the challenge of not interacting with friends at school does exist, students are trying their best to comply, and staff continues to remind them to follow the protocols. While still anxious about the chances of COVID-19 exposure, teacher at the Wester Hall Secondary School, Barbara Bernard, says there were too many children missing online classes.
At first, it was difficult getting in contact with a lot of the children, because I had to personally call a lot of the parents to remind them that things are posted there, are in the group chat, things are posted, they need to be mindful, be aware, check up constantly, be checking the chat, checking the children to ensure that they're in classes and they're following the classes and doing their work.
All in all, Bernard is feeling positive about the return to school.
The students, they seem both pleased and displeased, because they know that they are missing pairs, and they seem to miss having that connectivity with them, that opportunity to meet and greet and get to know everybody. But they're also a bit apprehensive because they have to keep the mask in their face, and they have to constantly be reminded about following the protocols and so.
For the National Report, I'm Annette Moore.